I'd like to share with you 5 important lessons that I've learned over the years about regional economic development. First, the reason that most communities, regions, companies, groups, clubs, and individuals don't reach their goals is they never really set them in the first place. While this may seem obvious to you, it's where most efforts fall short. Almost all downstream disagreements will come from the result of your failure to reach agreement upstream. Secondly, and I think you're off to an excellent start on this, but I think it's important that you make no small plans. It isn't just that small plans aren't of sufficient scale to do the job. It's that they can't engender the excitement or the inspiration needed to gather people together around the task at hand. Rarely will you find people moved to action on the basis of incremental change or incremental progress or muddling through the situations ahead. Make no small plans. There is perhaps no better example or no better lesson from the Research Triangle Park of North Carolina that in 1959, when they founded the park, it wasn't just a big plan. It was an insanely big plan. It was a scheme. It was a dream. It was an undertaking so bold and so big that the pursuit of it became a self-organizing principle around which the entire region gained focus and identity. Thirdly, leadership is the most important ingredient, the most precious resource that you have. I've often said there are 4 ingredients for success in economic development: a plan of substance, strong professional staff, adequate funding, and an engaged and enlightened group of leaders, public, private, and academic. Of the 4, leadership is the most important. I'll take it one step further with another example from Research Triangle Park. I spent a good number of years there trying to figure out just what the secret sauce was. What made the difference? How could they do what no one else could do? How could we be in a situation where it was widely copied but never duplicated? Because people copied what they could see. But the things unseen, the non-physical aspects, were important. Key to their success was what I refer to a term, the only term I've invented in my life, is what I call transgenerational legacy leadership. So what does that mean? It's leadership that's willing to commit a full measure of their energy, their effort, their very fiber to undertaking a task so great, so large, that they know they will be unlikely to ever live to see it come to full fruition. And then hand it off to leadership that's willing to complete work they didn't start. Those are 2 of the most rare ingredients of leadership. That's how the great cathedrals in Europe were built. That's how the pyramids were built. That's how all those things that were built that took long periods of time of sustained effort. Very rare, but very important. 4th, I count along as we go so you'll know when I'm about done. Working together is really the only way to get things done. Once again, this may seem too obvious or too simple for most people to understand. But just because it's obvious doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, collaboration is extremely difficult to get right. A lot of dimensions, a lot of granularity to collaboration. A couple of things. First, I think you have to understand an important contextual difference between your span of control and your sphere of influence. On any given day, your span of control is very limited. Still, on any given day, there's only about 20 people I can boss around, and some of them don't listen, you know? But on any given day, your sphere of influence, if you collaborate correctly, is almost limitless, because it becomes viral in a networked fashion, and it is how the world can be changed. Another element is that in working together is that it involves, this is why it's so hard, it involves both competition and cooperation. And the wisdom is to know when to do which. They're not mutually exclusive. They all work together. It also involves celebrating success even when it accrues to someone else. Maybe the hardest part. It was Bette Midler who said, the trouble with success is finding someone who's happy for you. You know? Well, what you've got to do as a region is learn how to be happy when your partners win. Recognize that when they win, you win, and that their win is as critical to your success as your win is critical to theirs. And fifth, and very importantly, I've learned you can't sell from an empty wagon. Oh, you may say, this has always been true. It has. But what's different today is what's needed to fill up that wagon. In the past, and I took note of this too as you were going through some of the things with some of your early successes, we needed to make sure our wagon was full of prepared sites and facilities, rapid permits, good roads, air connections, nice places to live, and of course financial incentives to meet the market. To be sure, these are still important. In fact, they're the price of admission, the minimum threshold, if you will, the entry fee for this big economic development competition. But to win in the years ahead, you'll need to be sure your wagon is full of talented people with just the right skill sets to match the current and future needs of your customers. I can think of no more important factor. With it, you have a good chance of success. Without it, you won't even be in the game. So place still matters, but for different reasons. Be attractive to your people, the right talented people, and you'll be attractive to the right prosperous companies. In closing, what can you do, what must you do to ensure success? Now the ball is in your court, and a strong bias for action is needed. You've accomplished much getting to this point. You've worked together to develop your plan with clear goals. You've engaged all levels of leadership. It seems like you have the right people on the bus. Now you have to go forward and execute the plan. Remember, it was Will Rogers who said, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And you'll be passed by also. So it's really up to you. Do not, please, just do not sit there. This really isn't the partnership's plan or the communities of Tampa Bay's plan or the Regional Planning Council's plan. It's your plan. It is up to each of you to do your part. Your community, your region, your area is rich in human and material resources. And the challenge before you today is to frame an implementation plan that will marshal those resources into an effective mechanism to deliver the important changes in the marketplace. It's your job, and it won't get done unless you do it. Thank you for having me here this morning. Good luck.